Rise and shine, family. Welcome to part 2 of the Deprogram. Look at the scenery we got here. Now it's starting to drizzle a little bit and I know it's gonna mess me up, but listen, we're gonna talk about this today. We're gonna talk about back in the 1300s, Pope Bonaventure creating the Unum Sanctum Trust and putting us on ships, creating maritime law. Remember that word, maritime law, because we're gonna get familiar with that just in a little bit. So while you're looking at this water, I wanna say nice to meet your acquaintance. Did I just make a play on words? Acquaintance, aqua, right? Are you feeling well today? Well, what is a well? Something that's filled with water. What are you? Something that's filled with water. It's funny. But I'm not new to this. This is not something that Kevin is doing, that is coming up with. They've been doing this stuff since back in the 1300s, baby. See, this is what I mean. This is why Pope Bonaventure put us on ships. But see, what happens with words and language, it creates separation. Why are we on ships when we are the water itself, right? Just think about it. Whenever you put everybody on ships, we always on a ship, either a citizenship, relationship, friendship, internship, apprenticeship, always on a ship, right? And the ship is separate from the water, right? But the ship is floating on the water. So this is what we're looking at. Maritime law is the law that governs the water, right? Now we have land law and then we have maritime law governs the water. So this is why we all on ships, because people travel on the water via ship, right? That's why you have a vessel, right? And inside of your body, you have what they call cells, right? On another vessel, on a boat, you have what they call cells, right? Now we're going to get into a little bit of word magic, but at the same time, you guys have to understand that it's a little bit deeper than that. And that's why I say it brings about separation. So we're going to get into a little bit of magic about the word, but also we're going to get into a little bit about how the words can cause, separation. For instance, we call these things a relationship. So let's just say we're all on ships, right? Like I said earlier, citizenship, apprenticeship, internship, all these different ships. How you doing, sir? Yes, sir. So we got all these different ships, right? But when you see different, entities, different organisms working together, let's say a bee to a hive, you'd never say that they have a relationship. There's no need, because that goes hand in hand. Of course they have a relationship. You're going to have some type of relation, some type of something in common with your community. We all have relationships. So it goes without saying. It's like saying the lightning flashed. The lightning is the flash. They're not separate. So you created a verb which totally separated the flash from the lightning. You know how crazy that sounds? The flash is the lightning. Lightning doesn't flash. It's like saying the light is bright. The light is bright. Yeah, the bright is the light. You're saying that the light is doing something special. It's all light, even when it's dim. It's light. You see what I'm saying? But so even when you're talking about light and you're saying it's dim or light, at least you're giving some type of description to it. But when you say the lightning flash, what does that mean? Lightning, it is the flash, right? And it's kind of like when you look at this beautiful water here, this lake is made up of billions and billions of little water molecules, different droplets of water that forms this lake. But when you see this lake, you just see a lake, right? We don't consider the little bitty water molecules that help to form this lake. And we don't see the little molecules whenever we look at this lake. We don't even think about them. We don't consider them. This is what I mean by separation. If I ask you what is that, you would say a lake. But if I went to that lake and scooped out a bowl full of it or a bucket full of it, you just say I had a bowl of water. You see what I'm saying? But isn't it still the lake? It came from the source. Isn't it still the lake? Right? It's the same way. If you spilled your blood on the ground, you still say that's my blood. You wouldn't think it was separate from you. It's still you. 100%. You've never spilled your blood outside of yourself and been like, ew, that's someone else or something else. You know that's as much you as anything else. And that's why they can scrape up your blood and do DNA tests on it and know who you are. Because you are, every part of your being is as much you as you. You think just your face is you, right? Because you have some features, you can look in the mirror and see something, but your face is made up of billions of little cells that you can't even see. And you think you're you. You see? You think your whole entity is you as one single. You just say, I'm me, meaning what? My body? But again, not just the cells on your skin, the cells that's inside of your body. Your organs are set inside of your body. Every single thing in you and about you is as much you as anything else. Every single piece of hair on your head is you. I could take one piece of hair off your head and be able to know who you are without ever meeting you. You see what I'm saying? Down to your genetics. So your whole body is, and everything about you in terms of genetics is wrapped up in every single piece of you. You see, so if I took a piece of water from this ocean, from this specific lake, there's a way to find out where that drop of water came from. See what I'm saying? Based on the chemicals that's in it, the plant life, all this type of stuff. There would be a way to find out where does water come from? What type of plants grow in the water? Is it, you know, what all areas do these plants grow in? They can narrow it down. See? So the water really is never separate from the lake. And so when you think about that, what happens when that water evaporates? And now it's in the sky and the cloud. What is it now? Is it not still the lake? Or is this not the lake? Is this just the water from the clouds? What if this ain't a lake and they just told us to call this pocket of water a lake? What if it's just the air from the clouds? I mean, the water molecules from the clouds. Well, we have to call it a lake. We got to call it something because this is a community. It's organisms, all these different things existing in this one area. So we have to give it a name, just like you say a nation. What is a nation? It's a group of people, an organism of people, right? Or a group of people forming an organism, a community, if you will, working together to create such nation, community, family, all these type of things. They don't just form. So if you think of a word like nation, okay? The word nation is an ambiguous word. It's no such thing. You only have a nation if people are formed together in community. So there's no such thing as a nation if you're not doing that, right? So these are ambiguous words. Same thing with the lake. You know, we could say this is the lake, but what this means in nature is that, you know, it's life. It's a whole different world. When you look at the trees, when you look at the forest, and they say you look at the forest and you miss the trees. Well, did you miss the birds too? What about the beetles and the ants and the deer? When you should see the forest, not just, and that don't mean seeing all the trees at the same time. That means you recognize that this is an ecosystem. This is life. You know what I'm saying? Like you see the forest. So when you go into the trees and you start cutting them down and doing what you want to do to the landscape just because you want to create a place, this means you only see the trees. But when you go onto the mountain or you go into the forest and you say to the mountain or to the forest, how would you like me to build my home? And you build it around the forest instead of messing up its landmass, like shaving all the landmass off, and all of a sudden now there's landslides because you pushed away all the foundation. And now the ground has no foundation to hold itself up. This happens all the time in California, guys. We know this. So if you go into an ecosystem and you challenge the ecosystem to change it, you're proven to be a virus, not part of nature. But if you go into it and you say, you know, I want to build this place, because a real architect would build it within within the forest or within the mountain, you know, and make it work, not destroy the mountain to build it. You see, he didn't miss the forest. See, he said, I'm not going to hurt the nature. I'm not going to hurt anything. I'm going to build this and live accordingly with, you know. And this is what it's like when you see the world as one. But believing in words, language, the word language is mixed with three words, lang, gu, age. It just shows how they were not deceptive, but in creating words, they chose to take several different words, combine them for different meanings. So even now we have different words that have different meanings. Again, my body's called a vessel. Also a ship's called a vessel. But this is called a body. This is a body of water. But I'm not a body. I'm a vessel. But that's a body. You see what I'm saying? It's just how we're taught to see these things. You look at this water, you can see ripples in it. I can see ripples in it. I don't know about you guys, but I can see ripples in this water. And this means that each individual molecule is working together to create this design. Each ripple seems to be going all the way across. And so they're in unison. They're not fighting with each other. If they were, the water would be sporadic. But they're not arguing. They're not fighting. They're going with the flow. They're going with the flow. Water, right? Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 merrily. Life is but a dream. Maritime law. Merrily, life is but go through your life happy, but life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Think about this, guys. As you row your boat gently down the stream, the matrix we live in, this will be called a bank, right? Your income stops at a bank. Your stream of income stops at a bank. Why would your stream of income lead to a bank? Why? What's a cash flow? I need you to think. What's a crime wave? Why they say freeze when they police us? Freeze. You can liquidate money. right? You can freeze someone's assets. Again, your streams of income lead to a bank. Your money is called currency. I talked about the water and the ripples. You know what you would call that? A current. It means the direction that it's going in. Our money is a currency. The direction we're going in, the money's useful because it's a tool. You understand what I'm saying? But they built these words off of water for that reason. And I want you to understand something. Land law are things that people can disagree on. Like even right now, marijuana is legal in some states where it isn't. And that's just in America. Different states have different laws, but different countries have different laws. Like in some countries, alcohol is considered a drug. Like they smuggle in beer. You see what I'm saying? They can be arrested and go to prison for drinking alcohol. And in our country, that sounds crazy, but hey, there's a lot of deaths over alcohol. You see what I'm saying? A lot more than weed, and weed is legal. Is illegal. You see what I'm saying? So we got some crazy things going on. In some states, you can beat your wife on Sunday, take her to the courthouse and beat her up on Sunday. And they actually made a law making that cool. You see what I'm saying? So, but maritime law, it doesn't change. Every single country has agreed on maritime law. So this is the power right here. Water, the law of water. You understand? So when I say that the water is power, this is why you have a birth date, because you were birthed as in not because of the earth and, BEARTH isn't how I like to say it, but it's because you were birthed, BERTH. Okay, you were birthed in a ship. A ship has a berth. A bed and a sailor ship is called a berth. This is why your information in a courthouse is on a docket. This is because a ship has to dock, doesn't it? Okay, you have to have a birth certificate, a certificate of your birth, because you're living now in this ship that we call this matrix, right? That we call this government. You understand what I'm saying? So this is all maritime law. And even like, again, in the courthouses, you can see how it mirrors, religion. Judges have their Masonic hammers or their gavels in which they declare their word of the law, do they not? And the idea of the law comes from the biblical 10 stone commandments. And so it is said that you break the law, as in Moses broke the law when he came down and saw the Israelites doing something. Notice he never read the law. He shattered the law himself that it took him 30 days to write. Isn't that something? Right? And like judges always sit on their 3-tier high platform representing the three blue degrees of Freemasonry. And think about when you're giving someone the 3rd degree. Doesn't that mean that you're questioning them, right? Or you're interrogating them, testing them? And in court, only men could speak because you had to have testicles to speak. You see what I'm saying? And it's funny that I say, do you see what I'm saying? You have to be able to image this. And again, see with the ocean, we wave. We see, we're sure, as in we're sure. You're tossed to and fro on an ocean, only seeing water. You don't know where the land is. And when you finally find land, you're now stable. So now you're sure, right? And we say these terms and they sound just the same. SURE should spell sure, not sure. There's no H in there, but we're bound by the programming that is the spell that's cast on us. And we now when we see that word, we actually just say sure and say it, And again, back to testifying in court or, having testicles. You also, of course, testify, in church. That's why I say these things are connected. Of course, when you're in the courtroom, the judge takes a recess. What sport do they use this term in? A court, tennis, recess. When you're playing tennis, you play it on a court. Tennis, 10 commandments, right? With lawyers who play the dialect, the protagonist and the antagonist game, bouncing the advantage into each other's court, right? The ball's in your court. In the courtroom, the witnesses must play their hand to the Old and New Testament before giving their testimony, right? Just as the pre-sermon is often called a testimony. And again, family, like I said, how they court and church relate. When you swear in court, you put one hand on the Bible, one hand up to swear in. Most people lift one hand when they're also in church, attempting to connect with a higher power as well. And so that's what I mean by understanding the power of words. And they didn't just stop there. Again, when you go to a courthouse, it's a 3-tier system, right? The Masonic 3-tier system, just like when you go to church, it's three steps. Your preacher, your judge is going to wear a black robe. This black robe symbolizes power, right? The black mortarboard. This is why they wear black, because they're representing you. You're going to be represented by a lawyer, someone advocating for you, right? You're gonna sit out on the boat in the ship. You're gonna see the bay doors that swing as you're in the courtroom, made just like a boat, right? And when they say all rise, and they ask you, are you your name? Because you stand for him when he walk in, just like you stand when your pastor walks in, right? This is how all this stuff is mixed together. All rise, just like when your pastor walks in, you stand up and respect him, right? Why? Why do you have to stand up because he walked in the room, right? The same thing with a judge. You have to stand to acknowledge him. Why? Why is this a thing? You see what I'm saying? And so then when they're getting ready to test you and give you the third degree, third tier, third degree of masonry, right? And giving someone a third degree is questioning them, right? Interrogating them. So before I give you the third degree, I'm going to ask you your name, which would be on your straw man papers. Are you Kevin Wesley? The moment you agree to that, you're saying, I am my straw man. I am my name. This gives them a right to punish you based on them owning you, because they own your straw man. And it's funny that you have a straw man, because once they arrest your straw man, you must see the bailiff, right? The bailiff. And the same way you wave just like water, you also say, hey, you know, and it's so crazy because it's all in there. You see what I'm saying? So why do you need bail money? What's bail? B-A-I-L, like a bale of hay. Bailiff, straw man. But you're in a cell, C-E-L-L, which could be cell as in a place that you're locked up in. It could be a cell as in a cell in your body that carries energy and blood throughout your body. It could be a cell as in S-A-I-L, like a sheet on a boat, you know, but it could be a cell as something that charges as well. Charges. You're in a cell and they're charging you with a crime. They charge you, so they put you in a cell. You understand? So these are the words that they use. They're not hiding this stuff. So when we hear that there's a lot of slavery and a lot of labor being forced in prison where they're not paying these people, anything like that, it's not shocking. They told you that they were charging these people. I'm going to zap your energy. They zap your energy when you go out and vote. Vote, V-O-L-T, vote, because you're voting for a politician. Poll. Where do you go to vote? Vote at the poll, right? Poll, police. They see you as energy. Police. Doesn't energy travel through poles? When you go to the place to vote, don't you go to a poll or to a terminal, right? Electoral vote, the electric college. It's not your vote that matters. There is no place that solidifies a president that presides in charge. It's not really in charge, but appears to be in charge of the straw men, which would be us. You see what I'm saying? He presides there. And so we have to go vote to put him in power, electric, to put him in charge. You see, so now the person that gets the most votes by the electoral college becomes in charge or in power. And we hear these words every day and never think about this stuff. We don't think twice about it, you know? And that's why I say we got to be deeper. We got to dig deeper so we can unlock our minds. You see what I'm saying? It's time to go insane. That's the title of this, Go Insane. When I say go insane, I don't mean go crazy, lose your mind. Well, I do, because to lose your mind would be to lose the old thinking that you had, right? But when I say go insane, I mean go insane. We all trying to appear sane in the world, all trying to appear sane. Somebody say something, we want to be politically correct and not say something that upsets the system, because if we do, we want to appear sane. You see, if I come out and say Jesus never existed, he was fictitious, there's no way he ever existed, there's no proof of him, just as any other character in history, I get shamed as if I'm not sane, right? But however I am, I'm insane. I'm sane on the inside. I see the world truly. I don't see it from the outside. See? And what they make you think insanity is going crazy. Well, it is going crazy because it's pulling away. If a robot right now was to start jittering and flickering and malfunctioning, we would say it was malfunctioning. It is not doing what it was designed to do. Hence, it is being deprogrammed, or it's crazy. That's what we would say. The same word would be crazy to malfunction to a robot. It's not working the way it intended, right? When your brain don't work the way it intended, you lose your mind. You crazy. You go crazy. It's not a dirty word. It's not your fault when you go crazy. Some people, lose their memories really bad. Suffering from like Alzheimer's, amnesia. It's not their fault, but it is a malfunction of the brain. It forgets to remember whatever happens, you know. Well, we gonna try to do that on purpose. You see what I'm saying? Undo our brains from the world, reboot, and really appear that we are malfunctioning robots, because we are robots, and we're gonna have to understand that we're robots. And so we're gonna have to fix that, y'all. And I really hope that we can do it. I really hope that we can find it in us to have the power to change in that way, you know, because there's so many things that's been done to taper our minds off, and we have to understand that. And I know that word magic can really be fun, you know, because it does spark your brain to think. But I want you to understand, I am not making this stuff up. You can look it up. It's simply called Maritime law. Look up Pope Bonaventure VIII. Look it up. Look up maritime law and what it means. Look up Mary, what it really means. Mary refers to a part of the brain that simply means dream. What was Buddha's mother's name? And what was Jesus' mother's name? Mary. It's that M. That M is so important when dealing with this. Mary. Buddha's mother's name was Maya. Isis's name was Moshe before Isis. So you get all of these M's. And that's why I say it's funny that they say Mary, merrily, 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 merrily. Life is but a dream. It's only a dream. This isn't real. Life is the dream. When you sleep, it's not the dream. This is only a projection. Like the world, when you're looking at the world, you're only projecting an image onto the world. You realize that, right? What is a projector? It has film inside of it, and when turned on, it projects an image that reflects off of the film that's inside of it. Your programming is the film that's inside of your projector. And when you look at the world, you open your eyes, you're turning on your projector, and you're gonna see the world the way you're told to see it. When a projector turns on, it sees the movie that's in it. What else can it see but the movie that's inside of it, right? So when you look at the world and you see trees and grass, and you only referring to these things as that because somebody told you to say it. But what if that's not grass? What if that's something way more powerful that we just dumbed down to a term? What if we find out in 50 years that this can be used as a cure for everything or something crazy? You see what I'm saying? Most names of your flowers and stuff like that, guys, they come from other people who discovered them or other people who manipulated nature and created a certain type of flower, certain color, certain genetic flower. And so they're able to name it. Same thing with land masses, people who normally conquer and all this kind of stuff. These things are agreed on by people. Doesn't make them exist, you know? And that's why we have to see the world outside of that. Because you have an Australia doesn't mean an Australia exists. Because I say that this is cement doesn't make this cement. You understand what I'm saying? We need to see the world for what it truly is. This is still rocks. It's still rocks. Yeah, we may have processed it and did some things with it, but nothing's changed about it. And even saying rocks individualizes it, or it separates it, because it's really millions of small grains of sand. You see what I'm saying? It's really not. It's not one thing. It's many things working together to form this. That's what I'm saying. When we become a nation, we will seem single. They will look at us and see one. We will look at us and see one person, one love, one peace, one race. Not many different ones. A real true organism is going to work like that. Look at the water. If I put a drop of water in that lake, it'll become that lake, man. If I put a drop of water in that lake, I won't be able to go get that water out. I won't be able to find it and separate it anymore. You understand what I'm saying? When you see snowflakes, you think that it's different snowflakes falling down every time. What if I told you that's evaporated water of old snowflakes even, that came down frozen in a different beautiful form? It's the same snow, reincarnated, repackaged and given back, right? When water evaporates, it comes right back down. When animals die, they go right back to the earth. When we die, we go right back to the earth. Nothing is separate. You talk about causality and effect. Are they separate? They can't be. They would have to be one. Causality, if causality is different from effect, in other words, am I doing something to get something, or am I doing it because it's already designed to me to have it? Like if I have sex, am I having sex because it's my desire, or am I having sex because it's genetically predisposed to me that I have to have sex in order to reproduce? Because otherwise I wouldn't even know what sex is. So I may think I made it up, but why would I even think to put that in there? You see what I'm saying? Genetically, I don't have a choice but to survive. So causality, it's all one. I didn't choose to have my puberty hit and be attracted to women at a certain age. You see what I'm saying? I didn't choose when my beard was going to grow in. I don't have choices over these things. I didn't choose my height. You see what I'm saying? I didn't choose the vessel I was in by any means. You see what I'm saying? And that's why you have to see and understand that these things can't be you then. You can only be a ghost, your consciousness, possessing this vessel. You possess this vessel and you possess everyone else around you. Right now, I possess you. I'm in your mind. I'm in your head. You can only hear me in your head. Only hear me in your head. The sound is traveling down through your ear canal and vibrating in your brain, creating a signal. You only see me in your head. It may appear that you see me outside of you, but it's a signal in your brain that sees me. You see what I'm saying? I'm only inside of you. So yeah, whenever we talk to each other and we build, they say, well, two or more joined together, I am there. We're talking about a ghost, y'all. We ain't nothing but a ghost. Think about it. Whenever we talk, we possess each other. My consciousness is combined with every person that's ever done anything good for me, bad for me, taught me anything special, taught me something that I wish I never learned. Any life lesson, any person that's came across my life is now a part of me. They're in here. The things I learned from them, they help to shape my psyche. You see what I'm saying? They all exist. I'm all of them. You see what I'm saying? They possess me. You know, we talk about spirits attract. So when you have sex with someone, understand that vibration, that spirit gonna be on it. What spirit if you're not a ghost? And that, of course, ghost, spirit, these are biased type terms, but they come from the word breath, prana, right? Breath of life. You know, Holy Spirit is Ruach Kadesh, which really just means breath, right? So without this breath, we wouldn't even have life. So maybe what if we just breath, you know? I think there's so much to life that we really need to understand, guys, and that's why I'm doing this. Even right here, you can't see it probably. Yeah, you can, a little bit. But there's like a little waterfall. As that water shoots up, it appears to separate the water into droplets. But as they hit the water, what happens? They're no longer separate. You see? See, some of us have been tossed just like that. But when we got tossed, we felt inadequate. We felt alone. And it caused us to be a wall. So while we was in the air like that, we froze. We became cold. And when we fell back in the lake, we couldn't combine back with the water because that icy shell also creates a wall. Yeah, you may feel it protects you, but it also creates a wall. Because if I was to freeze a drop of water, it would take longer, you know, for that water to actually become part of the ocean. So always remain pliable. Don't become hard. You know what I'm saying? If that makes any sense. Please understand that things that happen to you, don't blame it on the whole organism. There are bad people in this world that's black, white, Chinese, every color. There's black people everywhere. I mean, there are bad people everywhere. People who do things that's negative, do things that's evil. You see what I'm saying? When you look back through slavery, yes, there were people that would identify as black who contributed to stuff like that, but for personal gain. We look at it now. There are people right now who contribute to dumbing the world down for personal gain that also would identify as black, white, many other colors as well. So we all know that being bad or being evil or being a colonizer even isn't subjected to your race or your color. So it's subjected to a mindset. We were taught to be this way. And I feel like the only way to break free from it is not to judge each other based on how we look. The only way to break free from it is to go inside the mind and deal with the mind personally. So family, go insane. Go insane. Appear to be crazy to the world. If you get ridiculed, so be it, okay? Be evolution, my beautiful family. Be evolution. Be the change that you want to see. And no candle loses its flame by lighting another. Peace, family. That's it for Deprogram session 2. Go insane. I'll holler at y'all.